Hello, everyone, and welcome back to those following along with Rocky Mountain Adventure Racing. I'm excited today to welcome and introduce Nathalie from Expedition Canada, who's going to join us. Welcome, Nathalie. Thanks for being here today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
This is awesome. Can you tell us, just for those that are new and listening for the first time, tell us about yourself and how you came to adventure racing?
Sure. So I lived in Australia for a little bit in 2008, around 2008. And in 2009, I started adventure racing. 2010, I did my first expedition race. And I've been doing maybe 17 or 18 expedition races since that time. So yeah, I just became super active over there. And I just like the longer the race and the better it is for me, basically. When I moved back to Canada, I moved back to Ontario, Quebec side, and I've been in touch with the ARWS series because they wanted to get a race in Canada for a while, but I just couldn't see it happening over there. And when I moved to BC 5 years ago, it was clear that the Okanagan was the perfect region to get this set up. And I did some multi-sport races around here, and that's how I met Hoodoo Adventures. And Hoodoo Adventures is the company that's putting on Expedition Canada. And I was racing and somehow was kicking some asses and got really close to the race director, Lindy, who is the CEO of the company. And it just happened that the company I was working for stopped doing events at the same time that they lost the event coordinator. So it was kind of a perfect timing for us to get together. And Lindy and Mike lived in New Zealand for quite a while. So they were familiar with adventure racing, and she's always been keen to put one on. So that was just the perfect match that happened. And within 2 years, we made Expedition Canada happen for the first time.
Awesome.
And that was last September, October.
A small little description for years and years of work to bring something of that magnitude to Canada. So thanks for doing that on behalf of everybody that participated or is, a future participant of Expedition Canada. You mentioned expedition racing. Not everybody that is following along with Rocky Mountain Adventure Racing is maybe aware of what expedition racing is or how that might differ to an adventure race that they might experience with us here in Alberta. Can you take a moment real quick just to explain what expedition racing would be?
For sure. So expedition racing is adventure racing. So it's mountain biking, paddling, trekking with orienteering. You will have some ropes as well. Sometimes it's abseiling, sometimes it's climbing with Jumar, zip lining or else. But it's on a longer course. So our course is going to be 540K long this year. And we opened the course for 6.5 days. So we expect the first team to come within 3 days. But the slowest team and more newbie team may take up to 6.5 days to come. So teams of 4 are racing together at all time. They have to stay within 100 meters of each other's. And they decide when, where, if they sleep along the way.
Awesome. So different to the adventure racing that we're doing, which is much more considered a sprint distance, certainly less than 12 hours, so half a day. Your racers are going to experience anywhere between 3 and 6 days of adventure racing. So for those new to us or adventure racing in general, expedition racing is simply just a much longer period of time where you really have to make some more decisions in that process over time. So pretty exciting. The other thing you mentioned that some people may not be aware of is the ARWS, which is the Adventure Racing World Series. Yes. How does Expedition Canada fit into the ARWS? Because that's a huge and significant process and brand, and being a part of that is pretty significant.
Yes. So last year, I've known the directors of the ARWS series since I started, because I started in Australia with XPD Cairns. And that's how I met Craig. And he has seen me over the years, racing and at all the races and everything. So I kept in touch with him. And last year, when I told him that we were keen to put the Expedition Canada on, he asked me to be a demo race for the circuit. So basically we had to do the first race and demonstrate that everything went well, that the course was well set, the racers were mostly happy. We didn't kill anybody, we didn't lose anyone. But the sceneries, that what we showcased during our race was there, but the challenge was considerable but attainable kind of thing. And so we received the good news not long ago that we could be part of the World Series as a qualifier for the Worlds.
Wow.
So this year, the top team is going to go to World Championships in Paraguay.
Awesome. Well, congratulations to that. That's huge. That puts Canada on the map in the world view of adventure racing, which is fantastic. A lot of fabulous races happen coast to coast to coast here, and just exciting to know that you're waving the flag for Canada at that level. So awesome to hear. What's unique about Expedition Canada, or is anything you can share with us about Expedition Canada, maybe more specifically about this upcoming race? So you mentioned 540 kilometers. Ideally, your top teams are going to be in around 72 hours, 3 days. Anything else you're willing to share or able to share?
We're going to showcase, like in the Okanagan, we're very lucky. We have tons of really world-class mountain bike trails. And it's not often in expedition races that you get to have a lot of single tracks. And it's something that we can offer on our courses, and we're really proud of it, because that was one of the really positive comments that came out of the race, that the amazement around like the trail system that we have and the landscape and everything.
For those of you that haven't been out that way, the landscape is beautiful. The scenery is just fantastic. The trail networks, the amount of multi-sport available in that region is pretty significant. So we can only imagine how exciting a race that you are able to put together. And I've been able to talk to some other teams that have participated last year at Expedition Canada, and they just had great things to say about it. So can only imagine that it's going to continue to get better and even more polished over time.
I hope so. That's the aim.
Now, as an expedition adventure racer, and even in shorter sprint style races that typically occur overnight, you're probably well aware of sleep monsters, the concept of sleep monsters. And for those that are listening, sleep monsters is when you're lacking sleep, you're calorically deprived, likely you're deficient in sleep, and you tend to see things that are not actually out there or that are actually real. Have you experienced any sleep monsters for fun? Can we share any stories with people of things that you've seen while racing?
Oh, I have experienced it a lot. It usually happens in the second night without sleep for me. And my most recent one was I raced UTMB in Europe last summer. And they make you start at 6 p.m. And it took me 39 hours to go through the 171K and 10,000 meters elevation gain on foot. And so I went for a second night without sleep, like most races would do. And I saw a skunk. I just saw a skunk that was not there. And I was with two other guys, and I was super happy. And I pointed it out. I was like, "Ooh, look at the skunk!" And they looked at me weird, and I was like, "What's happening?" And I keep on pointing at it. I'm like, "No, but look over there." And they're like, "There's nothing there." Like, was it a cat? Was it a cat? Maybe it was a cat, but there was something. Look, I can see it. And they're like, "Nope, there's absolutely nothing here."
Just the reflection of your headlamp, probably on a piece of metal on the ground, that made you think there was an eye looking at you.
But, oh no, it wasn't just an eye. I could see it perfectly. Like I could see like the black and white stripe, and wow. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. UTMB is the circumvention of Mount Blanc. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Big race. So if people want more information on Expedition Canada, what's the easiest way to find you, to find Hoodoo Adventures, or to find more information on the race?
So my email address is events@hoodooadventures.ca, but they can go on expeditionracecanada.ca, which is our main website. And they can go and contact us, or they can even find me directly on Facebook, which is what people tend to do. And just message me, or go on Expedition Canada on Facebook or Instagram, and we'll just go from there.
Cool. Well, I hope people reach out. I really appreciate you taking the time to share about Expedition Canada with you. We're certainly following along and grateful for the lead that you're taking, especially on the international level. So thanks very much for the time.
Thanks for your time.